The world design of the town of Megaton leaves much to be desired. One example is that it is not clear where the town gets its food. And no, the mole rats behind the town do not count as the town's food supply, as there are too few to sustain the town, and no one is ever shown hunting or eating them, and they were most likely placed there for Moira's mole rat repellent quest. But in addition to that, another mystery is what does the town do with its criminals? If you inform Lucas Sims of Mr. Burke's plan to arm the bomb and blow up the town, he will tell you to follow him for an education in Wasteland justice.
Come with me. You're about to get an education in Wasteland justice.
He then runs to Moriarty's saloon to confront Burke and place him under arrest. But instead of giving the player an education in Wasteland justice, Lucas Sims instead gives the player a lesson in Wasteland Darwinism by foolishly failing to restrain Mr. Burke in handcuffs or something similar, pat him down to check for weapons, and then proceeds to turn his back to Burke, allowing Burke to pull out a hidden weapon that Sims made no effort to check for, and shoot him dead. And no one in the tavern reacts to the killing or makes any effort to stop Burke as he makes his getaway. As stupid as this quest appears on the surface, it becomes even more stupid when you consider that the town's jail that Lucas Sims tells Burke to follow him to doesn't even exist. Just as Bethesda failed to show where the town of Megaton gets its food, or their electricity, or how the town's economy is supposed to function, they've also utterly failed to show how the town deals with law and order. Lucas Sims references a jail and tells Burke to follow him to it. That is pure telling, not showing.
And I'm sorry, but we didn't need any of that information. That is just a massive exposition dump. That is pure telling, not showing. And I'm utterly baffled that managed to make it into the final game, because we don't need any of it.
There are only so many buildings in Megaton, and each and every one of them can be entered and explored, and it can be concluded with absolute certainty that no such jail actually exists. The closest thing Megaton has to a jail is probably the armory, which is locked up tighter than Fort Knox, and defended by an instantly hostile on-site robot named Deputy Steele. Although this actual building itself is very secure, there are a bunch of accessible weapons inside, which makes this building not suitable to house prisoners. So where exactly did Lucas Sims intend to lead Mr. Burke? No building inside Megaton fits the bill. And what exactly did Sims mean by Wasteland Justice? My theory is that Sims intended to lead Burke back behind the town and summarily execute him. Assuming Bethesda didn't just drop the ball by failing to create a jail in the town, that's probably exactly what Sims intended to do. And he's probably done it before. What else could he possibly imply when he says Wasteland Justice? There's nothing more Wasteland Justice than a summary execution without a trial back behind the town. It could also be the explanation for why there are the mole rats and the vicious dogs back there. Since there's clearly no vegetation for them to feed on, they may be drawn to that area because they are feeding on the corpses of all the criminals Sims executed. It could also explain why we don't see any corpses back there because they may have been thoroughly scavenged. If my theory is correct, this Wasteland Justice would not be something unique to Fallout 3. We also see this in New Vegas in the case of Sheriff Myers, who is serving a sentence at the NCRCF because he ran a town in a similar manner and served out executions without trial or due process. If this is indeed what Lucas Sims is doing in Megaton, then the people of the town are likely well aware of it, and it could explain why they do not intervene to save him or to punish Burke after Burke kills him. This is all just speculation on my part. The simpler and far more likely answer is that Bethesda just simply screwed up, as they have so often done time and time again, by failing to do the simple task of adding in a jail, just as they failed to add in the town's food source, the source of the electricity, and a million other things. Not far away, in Springvale Elementary, for some strange reason, there are plenty of jail cells with iron bars. It therefore would have been very trivial of Bethesda to add some of these iron bars assets, which they've clearly already made, into Megaton to create a jail. It doesn't even have to be a very big jail either. Just big enough to hold 2 people probably would have sufficed. But just as it would be a trivial thing to patch Fallout 3 on Steam to get it to run on modern Windows, Bethesda flat out refuses to do it. So Fallout 3 remains abandoned in this perpetually broken, buggy state forever.